caregiver care is misunderstood and undervalued by a lot of people, especially those who are in the thick of it and having to care
Yep.
for
Yep.
others,
Yep.
because it's very easy for you to get to a place where you feel like you do have to carry it all. And the heaviness of that is it can be crushing.
Yep.
Because you do find yourself in that place where you've had enough and you can't take it anymore. And yet it's really hard to look at your spouse, a parent, a sibling, and say, I wish you would just hurry up and die so that I could be over with this. Right? That's an awful thing to be carrying around, and yet it's real. It's a real feeling,
It's very
and
human. Yeah, absolutely.
it needs,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
authentic.
think that there are answers for that,
Yeah.
and opportunities to deal with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a very broad audience, and if you're not going through it yourself right now, my guess is there is somebody close to you who is, and if not either of those things,
Yeah.
hold on to your hat. You will be shortly.
Yeah, well, it's such an inspiration, Sam, that going through all of that, you've written the book, you're helping other people, you're active in your community helping people. So, Rise and Thrivers, that's samwegner.com. It's spelled how it sounds, that's right. SAMWEGNER,
Yep.
samwegner.com. You can go to his website and it's all there to get the book, and I encourage you to do so for all the reasons Sam just mentioned.
And if you're in Australia,
yeah,
I know getting books from the United States can be a bit pricey and challenging for you, but there is a link to a distributor in Australia that might be uh, a better option for you. And it's also available in ebook and in audiobook format. And also at my website, there is a contact form, and I encourage anybody, whether you agree with me or not, whether you believe the same way I do or not, just tell me your story. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to be able to help if I can. Um, and You want to ask a question, you want to have a debate, fine. Feel free to reach out. I do want to hear from people, because that's where this really becomes real. It's not just something to buy and look pretty on your shelf. It's meant to make a difference in your life, and so that's really what I'm about, and what I want to see happen.
That's very obvious, Sam. You walk the talk, and I have heard an expression that God doesn't give you more than you can handle. But I would imagine with what you've had to deal with, you questioned that a few times.
Well, so yeah, my wife and I have actually talked about that particular expression a whole lot,
Yeah.
and um, we don't think that's true.
Right.
In fact, I'm coming to believe that God does give us more than what we can handle, because we're not the ones intended to handle it. He wants us to trust Him. He wants us to be dependent upon Him. And if He just gave us stuff that we could solve with our own devices, our own solutions, what need would we have of Him? And I know that some people, that's going to sound very selfish and self-serving on His part, but it's really the it's really the same kind of relationship that um, we have with our own children. I mean, how many times have um, you've been trying to teach your toddler something and they just insist on doing it their own way? I can do it all by myself, right? And you see them struggling at it and you see them failing. And by the way, it's not just a toddler problem. It gets even worse when they become young adults, right? And
Yeah,
they
I've got a
think that they,
15-year-old son, Sam. I know exactly what you mean.
buddy, buddy, right?
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. And what you really want with somebody like that is you want your son to call you up and say, "Hey, Dad, um, I got an issue, right? I got a problem. I don't know how to solve.
Mm.
Um, can you help me?" Right? And we long for that as humans, and we treasure those moments because those are the times when you're in there working it together. You're talking, you're sharing your feelings, you're sharing the experience, you're growing together and bonding and all those wonderful things. That's when that type of thing happens.
Yep.
And so when we find these difficult things in our lives, I believe that's what God is wanting to do with us. He's wanting to come along beside us. He's wanting to take the heaviness of our weight away and let him carry it, because as we walk with him together in that, that is how we bond. And it's the exact same thing. And you wouldn't consider yourself um, mean or uncaring to um, you know to put your son in a situation where he still does need to depend on you, because there are things that he needs to learn in order to grow up, in order to
Mm.
mature, and all those type of things.
Yep.
And it creates that bonding opportunity. So we do it with our kids. I think our
Yep.
Heavenly Father does it with us, and it's the same thing.
Again, Sam, it's a really great way that you've put it, and there's some relief's not the right word, but I'll use it anyway. There's some kind of relief when you hand it over, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I talk about is the fact that my boss, that I had worked with and served for 9 or 10 years, basically turned against me because she heard a rumor that wasn't true and
Mm-hmm.
believed it.
Mm-hmm.
And when people are faced with that kind of a relationship problem, right? It's very easy to feel angry, get vindictive, want to retaliate,
Yep.
respond in kind, and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that she said to me in that conversation was, "I made you, Sam." And I said to myself, "No, I believe somebody else made me." Right. And if you're going to make that kind of a claim, then you just picked on somebody a whole lot bigger than me. And when I understood it and viewed it that way, it freed me from even wanting to feel bitter, to
Mm-hmm.
be angry.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I felt sorry for her because she's fighting a losing battle, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want any of that.
Yep.
Right? I didn't want the breakdown in our relationship, and I certainly didn't want her to find herself at odds with God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but because of that, because I didn't view myself as being the target of the attack, it it did release me from that, uh, from having to carry that weight of trying to make things right myself,
Mm-hmm.
of trying to be meaner to her than she was to me, or any of those type of things that you might think you'd want to do. I didn't want to
Mm.
do any of that.
Yeah.
And it was not only freeing for me personally, it also opened up the opportunity for me to talk to other people who were struggling with anger, who were struggling with bitterness, who were
Mm.
struggling with resentment towards
Mm.
her, towards others, and say, Sam, how do you do that? Right?
Mm.
They wanted to be free of it.
Yeah.
And so um, it is it is remarkably uh, freeing to get to the point when you understand that you can't handle it.
Mm. Mm.
It is beyond your control. So stop trying to.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to control it, well, then somebody else has to, and that leads to a series of other questions and conversations. But that I know that in my life, when I am struggling the most, it's when I'm gripping the tightest,
Yeah. Right. Yep.
right? And the reason I'm gripping so tight and trying to hang on, it's because I can't. It's because it's slipping through my grasp, and I'm trying to prevent something that I can't prevent. And there's no hope, or there's no good outcome that
Mm.
comes from that.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And as you were talking about resentment, it reminded me of the expression I've heard about resentment is the poison you swallow, hoping the other person will die, which I'm sure
Absolutely.
you've heard about.
Yeah, absolutely. Hmm.
You're walking the talk though, because you are um, controlling what you can control, which is what you think, how you think, and what you do about a situation, rather than other things in those
Hmm.
other circumstances that you can't control. And then helping others that might be struggling with that as well. It's just wonderful,
Yep.
Sam.
Yep. Yep. It's there is there is something that is extremely therapeutic about community,
Mm.
and um, uh, there's I think it's more so than just even having somebody tell you, um, "I know how you feel," because
Yep.
that often just hits very shallow, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But in genuine community, um, your your companion isn't telling you that they know how you feel. They are in the middle of it, feeling it with you.
Mm.
And they're not afraid to walk into face whatever that ugly monster is that you're having to face is,
Mm.
um, alongside of you. And you're bolstered because um, you're not doing it alone. There is a reason that in our society, John, that imprisonment is a punishment, and that um, um, isolation is the biggest form of that punishment. Being put in solitary confinement,
Yep.
right, where you don't have the opportunity even to interact with guards or other inmates in the prison.
Mm.
That is one of the highest forms of punishment, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it. It's because we were created for community.
Mm.
And when we are isolated from community, either physically,
Mm.
in a prison,
Mm.
or emotionally,
Yep.
or spiritually, or relationally, um, we wilt.
Yep.
And um, and so um, being able to not only share openly and transparently is a big part of dealing with this.
Mm.
Um, Being willing to listen to it, and being willing to be vulnerable yourself, not trying to one up the other guy's story, but to say, you know what, I hear you, and this is what's going on with me. Uh, that has that goes a long way
Yeah. Yeah.
towards providing you with staying power.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I guess it would be remiss if we didn't talk about Crystal, because I would imagine her
Mm,
faith and perseverance is something that has been inspirational for you as well.
yeah. So um, one of the things that I've really come to appreciate is um, the ability to um, withstand pain.
Mm.
Because I'll be honest, I'm a wuss. I am so flimsy and fragile. It's embarrassing, right?
They do say
Um,
women have a higher threshold of
I
pain
tell
because
you
they're a
what,
lot better.
man. I tell you what. When you go to the doctor these days, everybody wants to know what your pain level is on a scale of 0 to 10, right?
Mm.
So um, she'll come in at a 5. She'll say it's a 5. I'm sure that for her it is a 5. If you or I were feeling it, it'd be a 15,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yep. I don't deny that.
and she bone cancer of any kind
Mm.
is painful
Mm.
because unlike a pain that you feel in your tissue or anything like that, there's there's no way to readjust your position to get comfortable. When you've got tumors that are sitting on your hips,
Mm.
it doesn't matter what side you're lying on, right?
Mm.
Um, in her most recent set of scans, it is it has become easier now to identify the specific vertebrae that do not have tumors. That's a shorter list than the ones that do.
Jesus.
And um, and okay, so you've got you've got something on your leg or whatever. This is her back. This is her spine,
Mm.
and yet um, she doesn't take a whole lot of pain medicine because um, it makes her nauseous,
Mm.
and that makes her feel worse.
Mm.
And so when and she has access to some pretty powerful, um, narcotic strength stuff, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
um, when um, when you know that she stopped taking morphine because it's not effective. Let that sink in. And then chooses to not take anything else
Mm.
because it upsets her stomach.
Mm.
I I have no concept.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
don't.
Yep.
And yet, um, if you were to read what she posts on Facebook, how she talks to other people, um, she is legitimately one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. You
Mm.
wouldn't know if
Mm. Mm.
if she didn't tell you. You
Mm.
wouldn't know
Yep.
what level of pain she was in.
Yep.
I have um, because of the pain, she doesn't sleep very well.
Yep.
So I have awoken in the middle of the night to find her on her phone chatting with women all around the world, um, encouraging them with what they're going through.
Mm.
She There was this one couple in Canada that she got connected with who had a small boy, 3 or 4 years old, who eventually died from cancer. And um, she she prayed for them. She connected and encouraged them, and uh, he became one of her kids. And she talked about him as much as she talked about our own grandchildren.
Mm.
Um, she's um, in the middle of the night been counseling young women over text in various parts of the country. Um, and it's and right now she's involved in um, doing a doing a Bible study um, over the phone, over Zoom,
Mm.
with another uh, cancer survivor,
Mhm.
because it's a they like I said, community is a strengthening force,
Mm.
and whether your disease is active currently or not, it's a shared experience that they can encourage one another with. So,
Mm.
um, yeah,
Yeah, very selfless and inspirational
it's
to
yeah,
all.
she's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. So big shout out to Crystal. Hopefully she'll be listening to this episode.
Oh,
I,
she's going to listen to it. She's going to listen to all of them.
yeah, I was going to say, but I didn't know if it was the right time to say a little bit of a joke. I was going to say, I hope she's encouraging people to get the book.
She does that too.
Yeah,
She does
good,
that too.
good. And so she said it's a wonderful book that can help so many people out there. And you know there'll be some people as you mentioned earlier that might be going through their own waiting season. Maybe they're waiting
Mhm.
for healing or direction or a breakthrough in their area of your life. What would you like them to know right now?
Well, so I would want them. I would like for them to know um, that there is real hope.
Mm.
That there are answers to the questions that you're asking. Um, it will likely require you to change the way you think about things, change the way you think about some things. It did for me. Um, and but I can also tell you that the peace and the strength that is to be gained by learning how to live a consistent and real hope is real. Um, I, I love to tell the story of a couple of good friends of mine that actually former business associates. And right after the book came out, they wanted to have lunch with me, two guys. And one of them, I know for sure, does not believe the same way I do. And so he, it had been several months since we had seen one another. And I showed up at the restaurant, and he just took a look at me and he says, "Hey, Sam, you look good." He says, "You look content." And he knows everything about my story. He knows exactly what we're dealing with. He knows, uh, you know, um, all of it. And he says, "You look content." And I said, "Well, you know what, man? I am content. Um, that's real,
Mm.
right? If he could see it in my face and hear it in my voice and see it in my life,
Mm.
right? It's real,
Mm.
and that can be yours too. And I would love to hear your story and to talk with you about um, how it can be real for you. Um, so please do use the contact form on my website, because that's one of the reasons I put it there.
Wonderful. So, and that's great advice. Thank you, Sam. So, Sam, pardon me, samwegner.com. All the details are there. We'll have those in the show notes. We'll have a connection, links to your socials as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two questions at the end of every interview that I ask, because this is
Okay.
Rise and Thrive Conversations for Greatness. And I like to ask all my guests, what is greatness to you?
So for me, greatness is being able to face these difficult and challenging circumstances, come through them without, not only without being destroyed, but being built up in the process,
Mm,
and knowing that mine is not the power that created it. That so to me, greatness is being the evidence and testimony to a great God. That's
wonderful.
what
Thank you.
greatness is to me.
Thank you. And I've got a playlist called Merko Motivation, and the only way a song gets on there is from the guests on the show. And so,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and so I ask my guests, I say, what is that one song or tune that you might put on when you need some inspiration or motivation, or that makes you feel great? So what would that song be for you, Sam?
Oh, wow, John, that's one I wasn't expecting. Okay.
I'm laughing, mate, because you would have heard heaps of the episodes of the show, so yeah, you'd know that.
um, let's see. One that comes to mind.
Mm.
Um, well, it's probably not um, the upbeat, um, you know, disco beat type of thing that you might think you'd want for a, you know, probably not going to want to go exercise to it or anything like that.
Well,
Um,
you never know,
but
right?
there's
Yeah.
there's an old hymn that has kind of become our family's anthem, and really was even before
Mm-hmm.
any of this happens.
Mm.
And it's great is thy faithfulness,
Right.
and it talks about how um, it's actually taken from a book of the Bible that most people don't read a whole lot, the book of Lamentations, where the prophet Jeremiah is lamenting the fact that the people of Israel are going to go into captivity, and they're going to undergo all this suffering and punishment and exile because of how they've rebelled against God. And right smack dab in the middle of it, there is this series of about 18 verses that is all about hope and praise, and the fact that God's mercies are new every single morning.
Mm.
And so, one of the things I say in the book is that we only get to see that God's mercies are new every morning when we look for them daily.
Mm.
And I spend some time in the book talking about the fact that Jeremiah um, was really in the depths of it. And if you read the first part of Lamentations 3, you're gonna identify, guarantee.
And so
But then
is
it
that song?
flips. Then it flips,
Yeah.
and in there he says, this is why I have hope. Great is your
Mm.
faithfulness. And there was a hymn writer in the 1800s that to kind of turned that into a poem that we still sing, and
Mm.
it's something that we um, we sing frequently as a family. It will be sung at my parents' funeral, and it will be sung at each of our funerals, because that's how ingrained it is into the fabric of our. But it's a very good reminder that that He is constantly there, that He is merciful, and He is good.
Perfect for the show too, because it's got the word great in it. So great is your
Great is your faithfulness.
That's going to
Yes.
go on the list. And Sam, we've got all sorts of songs on there. We've even got Gregorian chanting on there from one.
Well, there you go.
So
There you go.
So we've got a big mixture. One of my favourite hymns, because it was my mum's, was "Make Me a Channel of Your Peace," and that always reminds me of her. God rest her soul. And so definitely the power of music is big and prominent. Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
I've enjoyed it too, John.
I just encourage everyone to go to your site, connect with you, get the book. I really, really wish it sells 10 million copies worldwide, mate.
Wow, that would be great, because that would be a lot of people being helped, and that would be an awesome thing.
And so, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure having you on the show today, Sam.
Well, thank you very much. I wish you the best.
Thanks for joining us on Rise and Thrive, Conversations for Greatness with John Merkus. Remember, you are loved, you are worthy, and you do matter. Embrace the journey of personal growth and motivation. Let's go out there and do something great. Follow or subscribe for more insights and inspiration every Tuesday. Until next time, stay awesome.